As the National African Federated Chamber of Commerce and Industry celebrates its 60th anniversary in Durban, the event reflected on 6 decades of work towards the economic empowerment of African businesses and ongoing economic transformation. And Richard, thank you so much for your time this evening. Of course, as NAFCOC celebrates 60 years, one call that has also been made is the issues around Pick n Pay and the struggles that the retailer continues to face. Maybe let's start off there and maybe perhaps paint a picture when it comes to Pick n Pay and how dire the situation is for that retailer.
The second point that you raised about Pick n Pay, it came out of one of our presenters, Dr. Bali Lehutla, at our conference, and we welcomed his suggestion. We are looking into the matter because we realize that it will give us an opportunity as NAFCOC to get into the retail space in a manner that will also be an opportune. It's an opportunity for us because we'll be able to make sure that the ownership of Pick n Pay is owned by our communities, and we'll be able to use that infrastructure to benefit even the spaza shop network in the country.
And I mean, we understand that as Pick n Pay continues to face a number of struggles, 32 shops or retailers have been said that they may be closing their doors. And when a retailer like Pick n Pay, as big as Pick n Pay, that's been around for so many years, decides to shut down, that has dire consequences for a number of people in this country. That ultimately says, you know, there is a number of job losses in that regard. How important is it for businesses in the country to save Pick n Pay?
Yeah, that is a very unfortunate thing. That is why we've been advocating for an economy that should not be monopolized by few conglomerates. You know, if a shop like Pick n Pay close store, we lose a lot of employment, and of course it impacts and contributes to unemployment rate in the country, and that is a problem. I think you know. And we are looking seriously at this opportunity because we believe strongly with the buying power we have as Africans, we'll be able to bring a number of people to be part of Pick n Pay, but also use the 100 and something billion rands that is spent by our people to spend at their own stores that they will be earning through Pick n Pay.
And Richard, you know, can organized black business be able to save this retailer?
Yes, it can. Yes, it can. And yes, it can. In fact, after Padili Holy had already presented to us, we immediately, together with him, put up a steering committee, a committee that will look deeper into the issue and advise us better on how to respond and take this process forward.
And have any organized business, I mean, reached out and, you know, are they on board in terms of turning things around and ensuring that these retail outlets can be saved?
Well, we've not engaged so much with the process. However, as NAFCOC, as I say, one of the decisions we took yesterday was that we are going to look into the matter, get involved in the process, see whether we can mobilize funding to acquire the Pick n Pay and save that store. Even if we were to rebrand it, but at least it will give us an opportunity to make sure that ownership is across our communities. And you know that in our communities, we've got so many stockfeds, burial societies, and we believe that in every third house in our townships, there's a member of a burial society or a stockfed. Now, we want to bring such structures to be owners of this chain store, so that then we can then come up with a community-owned retail stores.
And Richard, I mean, as NAFCOC, you've recently celebrated your 60th anniversary. Maybe just give us an insight in there. What does it say about NAFCOC for you to reach this milestone?
We are very excited as an organization. Very, very excited. In fact, we are still at the celebration. As you called me, we are having a King's dinner this evening. We had received 3 kings from different areas, and the King's dinner is continuing as I speak to you now. But we've had the whole 4th day of this celebration. On the first day, we had invited academia, people like Professor Kabela and Dr. Palili Huta, Professor Pumela Msweli from the University of South Africa. And we wanted them to come and share with us an insight of where are we in terms of the economy, because we realized that the system currently is such that there's growing poverty, and poverty in this country is black. When you talk poverty, you talk black. You don't talk any other nationality. When you talk poor, you talk black. Unemployment, you talk black. So we wanted them to share with us in terms of policy, the gaps in the policy, and what should be happening in the next 30 years, so that as we shape our journey to the next 30 years, we must know at least what should be the priority areas in collaboration with government.
All right, Mr. Zulu, thank you so much for your time this evening. That is Richard Zulu. He's the Secretary General of NAFCOC there, just giving us an insight in terms of the discussions taking place when it comes to trying to save retailer Pick n Pay, but also there as NAFCOC celebrates 60 years. Of course, also highlighting that dinner which is taking place to highlight this major milestone.